Bram Stoker's Dracula was published in 1897, a time when Christianity was being questioned in light of Charles Darwin's interesting book, Origin of Species, which made a lot of people doubt their faiths and beliefs. The novel presents an idea that the only lethal and effective weapons against the supernatural and evil are symbols of unearthly good, which are symbols of God. Dracula, an ancient satanic figure, is presented as the enemy, as his supernatural thirst for blood leads him and allows him to extend his physical life. But as a consequence of this, disconnects him even further from any spiritual existence, being immortal physically but soulless. Victims of Count Dracula, such as Lucy Westenra and the three brides of Dracula, are cursed under a spell, making their physical shell and body immortal, but having no soul. Christian promise of salvation is expressed through the effectiveness of the holy items used against the face of terror, specifically when fighting off Dracula. This expresses the conquering of evil to be achieved by Christianity. This can be seen in the scene where the undead Lucy is saved and transformed by her second death, as her soul is returned back to her after a vision of, quote, unequaled sweetness and purity. Christian icons such as the crucifix and communion wafer have been shown as symbols of God being used to combat the supernatural figure, as the Count fears religious symbols. The book's central focus on Christianity and its religious symbols allows Stoker to delve into the strength and power of the religion. In Victorian England, there were strict social norms that women were expected to follow. New woman was a feminist idea emerged from this era, which strives to act independently, in control of their own sexuality, fashion, education, and work outside of home. Women that conformed to the social roles were deemed pure, while new women were deemed impure and rebellious. In Dracula, Stoker uses a spectrum to characterize the main female characters. Mina is depicted as the ideal Victorian wife, who is loyal to her husband as well as being emotional. Dracula's three brides are on the other end of the spectrum, who are represented in a hypersexualized and impure manner. The link between impurity and vampires suggests that females who are impure within Victorian society represent evil. Lucy represents the middle, a balance of purity and impurity. She is depicted as having similar qualities to Mina at the start of the novel, although attention is drawn to Lucy's beauty. After Dracula converts Lucy into a vampire, we see that Lucy now shows characteristics similar to that of the three brides of Dracula. Stoker reveals how easy it is to convert purity to impurity within Victorian society. It is interesting to see that the transformation from traditional Victorian values of women to overtly sexual and impure values flips the traditional gender roles of men and women. With this transformation of values, men are placed in the position where they are to be passive, which is typically reserved for Victorian women, whereas women no longer have to obey the rules of their society in this transformation. This can be seen by the three proposals that Lucy receives, as her flirtiness and superficiality is able to woo three men, who all try to submit to her in exchange for her hand in marriage.